Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the RuneQuest rules by Chaosium Incorporated. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Strong language, mature scenes, and rune magics are on the way. As this is our Glorantha, we will remind listeners that it may vary from the one you already know and love. And now, on to the show. Thank you for joining us again in another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I am your storyteller, Michael Diamond. I'm back with another episode of our 6 seasons in Sartar RuneQuest campaign. And I want to encourage you, the listener, to stop over to both our YouTube page or potentially even our Patreon page and show your support by subscribing or showing us that you're enjoying the show. All right? From now, we're going to get to introductions, and that happens to my right.
Hi, everybody. My name is Heather, and I am playing Lysanna of Cliffshield, a young apprentice healer of the Heraborn, an initiate of the Earth Goddess Ernalda, daughter of healer Nyana Call. And I think we are about to test our mettle against something fierce and ugly. So, hail, everyone.
Indeed, you are. And next to Lysanna.
This is Morgan, and I play Elara of Hill-Based Stead, and our pronouns are she, her. And Elara worships the great goddess of the earthquake, Marangor, who should maybe come in handy this time. Or whatever, during this episode, so I don't die.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to it. At the end of the table.
This is Jake. I'm playing Vargast, son of Gordanger. And I think tonight is I finally get to test my mettle in battle.
I look forward to it. And last, but also not least.
Hi, this is James, and I'll be playing Fin, the Irreverent. And tonight is a night for fishing and calm, cool waters and level heads.
Sure. A pleasure cruise in Eland-fested waters. So we're going to part the veil, as we like to do on this show, back in the same location that we left it. A deep, dark cave with a hungry ogress nearby. Both Lysanna and Elara simply did what they were told. They followed a ghostly creature in hopes of locating missing children. What they found inside the cave was a terrifying effigy, a mostly hairless bear corpse with a mountain goat attached to the top of it. Great wings made of branches that have dangling flesh on them. And it's really only now that our 2 initiates, one of Ernalda, the other Marangor, are beginning to realize that is not a simple, disgusting display behind them, but perhaps it is an effigy. Perhaps it is something more. The voice from the darkness thanked them for coming, as it is hungry. The large and terrifying form of an ogress steps out from the shadows. It begins making a sign in the air with its fingers. It gestures seemingly at 2 heaps of bones. But as we're going to get into combat, it will not have the opportunity to complete what it would like to do before others might go. And so in RuneQuest, we're going to cut the combat really into 4 specific parts. The first one is the statements of intent. And so between Lysanna and Elara, I'd like to know which one of you has. We'll start with Lysanna. What's your intent then?
As Lysanna would not wish to be intimidated, even though she's probably terrified inside. I plan to cast. I plan to cast with spirit magic.
Okay, so let's just attenuate you properly then. How many points of magic is going to cost you to cast this?
2.
Okay. So that will put you on strength rank 7, as it is 2 points of magic, and then 5 points for preparing a spell. So we'll put you there. And then Elara, what are you prepared to do?
I am prepared to pull my bow and arrow and shoot the ogress.
Okay. So what I'll say is that if you want to pull the bow and fire it this round, you can do so, but it won't happen until strike rank 10.
And I'm at 5 right now.
Well, just to take the bow out is 5.
Oh, okay. So I need to hit 5 more.
Mm-hmm. You'll be at strike rank 10.
Okay.
Which kind of makes sense in a way because you have to get the bow out, you have to get the arrow out, you've got to get it knocked in a dark cave, and then pull and fire, to say nothing for aiming. Okay, so I will put you on 10. The nice part is next round, provided you survive, next round, you'd get to shoot twice. Once on 5, and then once on 10. So that means that Lysanna is going to get her action first.
Lysanna sees this grotesque beast thing, almost an abomination of earth and flesh, come forth and takes a moment but remembers her training. She takes her inner focus down into her feet and feels the hardness of the earth beneath her. And as it lets that feeling rise up through her being, remembering who she is and the power from which all life springs. This is the antithesis of that. And I will call upon, in my mind, Mother of Earth, Goddess of Life, do not allow this creature to defile that for which you hold dear. And I would like to cast Demoralize.
Oh, okay. So, why don't you tell us what Demoralize does?
So, Demoralize, this is spirit magic specifically. So, the user of the spell, i.e. me, must first succeed in a POW versus POW resistance roll against the intended target. When, it says if, but I like to think when, the spell is successful, the victim shall lose faith in their own ability and of their allies to win a fight, find treasure, bring honor to their clan, or achieve any appropriate goal. The victims can still defend themselves fully, but attack only at half normal percentage. They can only use defensive and heal spells. And if it takes effect before combat starts, then the victim does not try to attack. If faced with superior odds, the victim will either run or surrender. A fanaticism spell does cancel Demoralize and vice versa. A victim aware of the spell can attempt to use the mediate skill to remove the effects of the spell. So I guess the first thing we do is we got a POW. POW. Pow, pow.
Yep, it's POW times 5.
It is POW times 5.
And I'll roll her POW times 5. You are the act, right? And she is the passive in this case.
So, okay. That is a 63 under 75.
Okay. The ogress failed her roll.
Okay.
So you have a successful POW roll. The ogress does not. So she will be demoralized.
Okay.
Which is going to affect some of the things that she was going to do on strength rank 9. So she sort of flings her hands out towards these piles. And as she does so, she was beginning to make these gestures in the air. And you can literally hear the air bend at this nauseatingly high-pitched sound. And it echoes all the way out of the cave. More on that later. As it does so, you call out to Ronalda to protect you and protect the earth from this disgustingly chaotic creature who is performed terrible rites. And you take on that powerful, strong Earth Mother voice and call out to the ogress to be gone. Leave this place. You are no longer welcome. And she stops mid-cast, overcome by this image that you project, this force of will. And you can see that she's beginning to shake. So she will not be able to complete the spell she was going to cast on 9 because she's been demoralized. That does not prevent Elara from finishing her action on 10, which is to finish getting her bow out and perhaps attempting to exact some justice for the things that have been done.
Before I do that, am I allowed to roll runic inspiration?
Sure. What room would you like to be inspired by, and why would you like to be inspired? What are you seeking inspiration for?
I am going to be inspired by the air rune, because it is the element of strength and violence. And I'm feeling a little violent right now because there's this ogress that is right here in front of me, and there's a little boy over there that we can save, and I am just, I feel like a storm inside of me.
I love it.
I got a 42 out of 55.
Okay, so gain 20% for the next task, which you are going to take up, which I imagine will be to connect a bow with ogre.
Yes, so I will shoot my composite bow, which with that added percentage gives me a 75.
Fantastic.
I got an 86 out of 75.
Okay. Boing. So you fire after feeling that hot rage flow through your body, and the arrow goes wide. So this is the end of the round. It'll close us down to the strike ranks because no one else has another action. So in the bookkeeping portion, adjust for your arrows. I would like both Fin and Vargast to roll their air runes.
24 under 30.
Okay.
64 under 90.
6,490. Yeah, that 90 air rune's going to get a lot of play. You both hear a not discordant tone played through the air, but you hear a strange sort of keening sound that comes from this space near. It's behind you. It must be. Some strange noise emanates from the rock wall behind you, probably a good 100 yards or so. Vargast, you feel the air move in that direction, like someone in that space called Orlanth to them, called the wind, the air to move. Of course, the air and Orlanth are one and the same.
I'll leap up and grab my spear and Finn. We need to go.
Oh, but the fish, it's still...
Orlanth calls.
Finn rummages through his knapsack and pulls out his sling and follows along behind after pulling the fishing pole up out of the river so he doesn't lose it.
We'll return to strike rank 1 inside the cave because there are still combatants there. I would imagine Lysanna and Elara are not just going to let this ogress live or let her get out. But she is going to, as a statement of intent, she will be attempting to move to a space just beside where Ashart is strung up. And it looks like there's a little tiny opening in a passageway that maybe leads elsewhere. She is clearly demoralized and trying to flee. Statement of intent, if you would.
Yes. My current plan, since she seems to be... It seemed to work. She seems to have fear. I'm going to press that.
Mm-hmm.
And I am actually going to spend one more point of spirit magic and cast Ignite. I'm going to basically reach my hand back towards the bare bone goat creature, basically the effigy. Looks like some kind of effigy. and if I can't touch one of the stick wings, the wooden wings,
You would not want to.
no, but put my hand back towards it, and that is what I want to ignite. I want to ignite the wings on the effigy.
Okay. I don't. Ignite's a spirit magic spell?
Yes,
Okay. So spirit magic, how many points is it?
just one. It's ranged, instant. The spell ignites anything normally burnable. It creates a small fire that can set such things alight, such as a torch, thatched roof, or a dry backpack. Skin cannot be ignited. Hair or fur may be, but the target's power must be overcome.
Yeah. So that'll happen on strike rank 6.
Okay.
On strike rank 5, Elara, are you continuing with your bow?
Actually, I wanted to know how. I see that the ogress is backing up.
Yeah, she looks like she's actively trying to leave. Like she's backing up, and you see that she's heading towards like what looks like a hole. It might go outside.
Okay, how close am I to the boy?
The cave's not terribly large. I would say that you're in reasonable short distance enough to be able to get to him if you want to try to cut him down.
Okay, yeah, I would like to do that, please.
Okay. That'll alter your strike rank because you're going to have to pull out another weapon, but we'll say that is happening later in the round. Lysanna, you set the effigy ablaze.
As Lysanna looks, she doesn't really even look back. She feels it. She tries to feel kind of approximately where it is or in the general direction, but she is staring into this thing's eyes with all of the fierceness that she can. You defile the earth. That cannot stand, and we will not allow it. Avistagor, sister of Vernalda, be with us. Avenge what this creature has done. And I blast.
Okay. Is there a damage roll for it?
No.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you propel fire out of your hand as a blazing warm as a campfire, and it ignites the branches and the flesh that's on them, and there is a low and painful groan from that goat mouth. It's hideous. So the ogress will take her action to move out of the cave through this little escape tunnel. Elara, you cut the boy down. You cut Ashhart from his suspension, carefully cradling him to make sure that he doesn't land into this nasty, blood-stained earthenware vessel.
Do I need to roll for that at all?
No,
Okay,
you just do it.
and I do it.
His body is cold, colder than you would expect, but he's essentially naked, waiting to be the next meal. There is an awful lot of blood-stained pieces on this earthenware vessel. It has been used countless times. After burning the effigy, Lysanna, are you going to at all continue to chase the ogress? Because you're planning to go after her? I have a feeling Elara might be a little bit tied up, so to speak, with Ashhart.
I will probably at least follow a short distance just to see the passageway, but I am not foolish enough to follow completely alone to take this thing on if and when demoralized stops.
Sure.
So I will at least follow just far enough before things really, because it'll probably get dark. Because I doubt this thing has, it wasn't carrying a torch or anything.
Nope.
So I will follow as probably a handful of steps, several steps in, just to get an idea of the path that it took. And but when it really starts to get dark, I will stop, pause and listen, and then probably back up, not taking my eyes off of it just in case.
Sure.
And then go back to helping Elara and assessing what's else in the cave, anything we can find.
Okay, we'll pause before you back into the cave.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You step out under the canopy of the trees. You can see in the far, far distance the Sartar feast. You can see the fires because they illuminate so much.
Right.
You can see the ogress in and amongst these tall trees here right beside the rock wall. And she is hustling all several 100 pounds of her, completely fear-struck by the power of the earth goddess. And out of the corner of your eye to the right, you see two shapes running towards the cave. Undeniably, one of them is Vargast. No one else in this area is that tall. But you're not sure he has seen the ogress yet. So, gentlemen, and I, of course, use that term loosely. Gentlemen, I'm going to have you both make scan rolls for me, if you would.
66 over 35.
Okay, that is 11 under 40.
Okay, not a special success, but it is a success. So out of the corner of your eye, Vargast, you see something large moving. So roughly a foot or so, foot and a half taller than you are, wider than you are. It looks monstrous.
I point. There.
You hear his voice, Lysanna.
Vargast!
Keep in mind you're both at shouting distance effectively.
I'm on it.
Okay. So I'll just ask Finn, what's your plan?
Can I clearly see the, ogress?
Can you clearly see an enormous shape moving through the woods?
All right, well, I would like to cast some rune magic, please.
Would you know?
Yeah, I certainly would.
Okay.
I would like to cast Illusionary Sight and wreath this shape in bright blue flames.
Oh, okay. This spell creates a visual illusion, which registers upon light-sensitive organs.
So I will cover their upper torso in blue flames.
Okay. Each point of the spell covers a volume of size 3. Once casting the spell, you can completely cover an area of a size of a small child. Ooh. Interesting. Okay, so that is that a spirit magic spell?
That is a rune magic spell of Ermal the Trickster.
All right. Wow. Well, this ought to be funny. So yeah, it goes off on strength rank 1. There's no, it's ranged. There's no resistance roll for it or opposed attribute. You just do it. You just light her up.
Yep. I point and mutter with a chuckle and a brief prayer to Ermal for blessing. I point and...
Yeah, so the convenient part for you, Vargast, is that a wreath of blue light, flame, suddenly erupts from this portion of the forest. And the unfortunate part is you get a full and direct look at an ogress, a beast, a being of chaos here. And you can hear that call, the call that exists inside all Hortlings. It calls back to the I fought, we won. It is everyone's part to play in life is to fight chaos every day in all sorts of different ways. And you feel that spear arm muscle begin to contract. It is time for you to do your part.
I cry out a war call and charge.
Everybody hears that. So you are going to charge. So Vargast, if you would, you're going to be able to close the distance on this creature. What will likely happen is that we're going to just have you make an attack roll. Vargas, because she's not going to be able to outrun you. Her movement rate is only 8, but she will be able to attempt to dodge because she can't actually take any aggressive actions.
That's a 42 over 40, so I missed.
Okay, swing at her. She sort of makes, like, as you swing at her or stab at her with this spear, she ducks around a tree, and you feel the point of this spear get driven into the wood and then yank it out to prepare for your next attack, which can go ahead and just be right now.
Okay. That's better. 26 under 40.
I'm going to roll her dodge. That is going to hit.
Okay.
So let's have you roll hit location.
Oh, yes. That is right arm
Okay. And then roll damage.
for 10 points of damage.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Almost maxed it out. I'm sorry I didn't add my damage bonus.
Do you need to change the number?
Yeah, it'll change.
Okay. So
13 points of damage.
on right arm.
Yeah.
Okay. So you stab with the spear and you connect in the medius portion of her right arm. And she falls to the ground. And you see the massive ogress's body trembling and shaking.
Well, I guess I finished her off. She has chaos, right?
Yeah. I mean, in all technical terms, yes. She's an ogress, and I would imagine, and not just imagine, but your father and likely your uncle have fought creatures of chaos before, and they're not one to give them any quarter.
Then that is what I shall do.
Yeah, it's in effect. In effect, this is like a servitor of chaos is here. So I won't make you roll for it. It's not necessary. Taking the spear back out does a significant amount of damage to her. Blood flows very freely, even while her upper body is continuing to be licked and lit by these blue flames that appeared on her. You make it quick.
Yeah. And then I take her head.
Okay. With a sword of some sort?
Yeah, I have a broadsword.
Okay. It doesn't take you terribly long to get the job done. It's pretty gross. The spinal column is very thick. Her head is very large. While you're doing that, Lysanna, you stepped back into the cave. And while Elara has found Ashard, it's also very clear that there are 2 distinct piles of bones here.
Okay. Well, Alara's trying to bring Ashart down. This is hard. I will go cautiously over to the piles and examine them.
Okay. Both are relatively bloody boned piles. Although some of the bones look like they've been gnawed on. And it does look like some of the larger bones, femurs, etc., have actually been gnawed, cracked, and had their marrow drained. The heads here are skulls of the young.
You said there's two of them?
Yes.
3 boys. Okay. I am going to, if I look around, do I see any kind of cloth, stretches of fabric, anything?
No.
All right. I'm going to remove my own, I'll still have my pants on. But I'm going to remove basically the robe, the dress robe that I wear. I'm going to just take that off. And Elara, do you have I need your shirt.
I'm got a kid in my arms and okay. I put him down and I mean, I take off my shirt. I have an undergarment under there that's probably akin to a bra or something, but I hand it over.
And I will lay them out next to each of the piles.
Mm-hmm.
Mother, we will bring these children home, where they may lie within your bosom. Tai Koratek, receive them. And I will begin moving one set of bones very, very gently as I can, and putting them on one that would have been my dress, and then the other onto Elara's shirt, and begin wrapping them up so that they no longer touch this desecrated space. And will be, once that is, at least they are in and covered, then I would move to Ashart and start assessing his medical state, basically.
Okay. Before we get there, Fin, and I guess for a second, Fin, after seeing Vargast in actual action again, having not seen him in action since the ordeal, I mean, you played a part for certain. But that was a servitor of chaos, actual chaos. And it feels really good in a way to have been a part of seeing that fulfilled.
Felt good to serve a purpose other than, comedy relief.
Well, everybody plays their part, right? That's sort of you can hear the voice that is inside you that is not you. You can hear the voice say, it's nice to play a part in all of this.
Fin, you did well, Fin. Now we find the others, and then we go drink like heroes.
Agreed.
They're not terribly hard to find. You can hear noises from that section of the rock wall. You saw at least a rough outline of Lysanna when she was standing, trying to point out the ogress, and the group gathers together just momentarily there in the cave. You have a couple of bundles now of bones. You have a youth who is alive, but certainly probably has been fear-struck. He is not conscious, but he is whole. He has not been wounded or bled. There are no blemishes or things like that on his person. It seems the group made it in time to save one of them. There's something you want to do to him before you go?
Like I said, I'm going kind of from that healer. Now I'm looking at him as a healer to assess, what his state is. And do I feel that the use of utilizing my runic magic, restore health specifically, if that would assist in not necessarily bringing him about, but at least stabilizing him, putting him in a better position.
He hasn't really been damaged, so
okay.
While it is possible for you to sort of transfer some restorative magics to him, your largest concern is that he is probably just passed out from fright, understandably so.
And I'm assuming that he was stripped naked and basically tied up, and so he needs to be... Fin, do you have something to wrap the boy in?
Yeah. Here. Fin takes off his evening cloak and, it might be a little tattered, but it'll be more than enough to wrap their two bodies in.
Certainly.
No, just to wrap the boy in. He's chilled, but he's alive, and we need to get him back.
No, yes.
What about that abomination? Please tell me that you took care of it.
Vargas took care of it. You should have seen him. He was like a force of nature. It was amazing. grab the kid and hand him to Vargast, because Vargast could most easily carry the child without being weighed down by them.
Right.
Elara, can you help me? Be careful. We bring sad tidings back with us, but at least they will be back home. And I kind of pick up very carefully and hand her one of the two bundles, the one with her shirt that's wrapped in her shirt.
Sure.
Death is part of life, but that doesn't make it any easier, especially when a child is involved. Let's get back. Let's be out of this place. And actually, I will hand the second bundle from my dress to Finn to carry. And I will look around and see whatever else I can throw on that fire that's going and see if we can. Basically, I'd like to kind of set as much of this ablaze.
There really isn't a ton of flammable items in here other than what you've already lit on fire. Like, the thing to remember is that effigy is made of a bear carcass,
right? The
head of a mountain goat, and then branches and strips of human flesh.
I was thinking whatever she had whatever device she had set up to hang the boy from.
I mean, it was a simple rock outcropping that she used to string the boy up. So there's nothing really else in here to burn.
Well, I will take the bowl that was used for the blood. Is it pottery? Is it wood?
Oh, it's actually it's probably stone.
I will hand it to Vargast and throw it, break it, and I will assume with his great strength, he'll put the boy down and he can take the bowl and smash it on the ground.
Okay, you smash it on the ground. It shatters.
Okay, let's go. Leave this behind.
The group heads back to the village because that's where most everyone is at. Many of the feast goers, festival goers, have headed back to their respective longhouses. There are only a small group of people left. In fact, you don't even see Vargast's father, Gordangar. You do find that his mother is here. Pale skin, long, dark hair. Jorna Song Voice is standing by the fire, not watching the fire, but watching who approaches.
And we approach the fire. Mother.
Yes, child.
And I kind of look back.
She immediately recognizes Ashard and runs over to grab the boy. Oh, how wonderful. You see her completely overcome with emotion. Oh, where was he?
She was in a cave, being held by an ogress.
An ogress?
But it was not a normal ogress.
Mother, chaos has entered. Chaos has taken. And I kind of point to the two bundles.
Finn carefully lays them down and opens them up.
We do not know which is which, but we do know it is them. They can be home now. Arnalda can accept their bones into her bosom. She will cradle them for time.
She takes a deep breath in and walks over and sort of puts her hands on her son, Vargast.
Mother, we defeated the ogress.
Good. She seems to almost lovingly pat the middle of your chest. And then she does this twice. And then you see her hand ball into a fist and almost pound on your frame in this odd affirmation. Son, you cannot save everyone, but you brought back the one you could save. She reaches over and affectionately, I guess that's the best word, sort of lovingly touches the side of your face, Finn. I know you had a hand in this.
I helped. I helped.
He did more than help. He was instrumental.
All had a part to play, including Finn.
Well, this is a sign, an important one. Even though roads here may be rocky, there are bright points for all of us. Once your father wakes, Vargast, we will tell him of this tale. You're all to be lauded for what you did. And so, the four of you spend a little time together. The leftover tankard of mead or two, the four of you raise a glass together. And as this tale spreads throughout those who are left, word reaches Ashhart's father, and he comes to collect his son, his living son. And words cannot express his love and care for all of you. He lauds the group as heroes and tells you with no equivocation that he, Baroth, will be loyal to all of you until he leaves this place. He owes you a powerful debt, and he will find a way to make that right. And so that's where I'll leave the four of you. Yes, just beyond the campfire light at this festival, having a good meal, some wonderful drink at the end of the night, and it can perhaps soothe the rough edges that you've experienced. I'm going to give you all 5 points of reputation, and that's where we'll leave our Haraborn. Until next time. So thank you for listening and joining us on the Old Ways podcast as we play through 6 seasons in Sartar. We greatly appreciate your listening ears. Thank you, and good night.